français, nous aurons, parce que David...
Référence course à grimpe, Rudy Mollard. David Chimolai, eh bien lui, a remporté la première étape du Tour de Catalogne cette année également. Donc voilà pour cette formation FDJ. Et on enchaîne cette fois-là de Lilian Calmejeanne, si vous vous en souvenez. C'était donc sur les routes du dernier Tour de France. Et j'aime bien aussi le citer, c'est Frédéric Bacart, le Gantois, 27 ans, 5e du Grand Prix Samin cette année. C'est vraiment
les 3 grandes victoires. Je vais vous laisser, Renaud, le soin de présenter ce magnifique coureur. Et ça...
Allez, il monte au compte-goutte et avec à la signature le vainqueur de l'an dernier, le vainqueur du Val.
Voilà, cette équipe Loco-Soudal qui sera une nouvelle fois bien soudée avec Soudal. Donc sur Tony Galopin.
On a l'occasion d'en parler à Rostov, donc du Grand Prix du Québec et de Montréal, deux épreuves World Tour. Ils ont fait le trajet jusqu'ici au Grand Prix de Wallonie. Voilà, c'était en préparation, notamment au futur championnat du monde au moment où on accueille la formation de Véranda Willems et Lam.
Allez, on va laisser s'installer cette équipe, ce Grand Prix de Wallonie.
Allez, il nous reste encore Yann Backlands et
le coach qui avait terminé, on va dire, bien, allez, à une demi-roue de Tony Galopin. Voilà, il n'avait pas manqué grand-chose. Mais voilà, on les attend impatiemment, cette équipe, cette équipe Quick-Step.
Alors, on va entre-temps quand même citer leur nom.
Voilà.
Le 41, Gianluca Brambilla, le 42, Odek, le 43, au nom imprononçable, c'est le Polonais Kasper Kim.
Voilà, donc on l'a dit, il fera partie des favoris également pour ce Grand Prix.
Du sprint, peut-être l'avenir du sprint également, lui qui pourrait prendre la succession de garçons comme Kittel, etc. dans le futur.
Voilà pour le public qui est présent ici, juste en face du podium signature. Tout va se passer de l'autre côté maintenant, puisque voilà, sous le portique Coca-Cola, eh bien, le peloton s'est installé. On voit que la première équipe...
Là-bas, l'auto pour le départ fictif, on le rappelle, départ fictif à midi. Il y aura 2,3 km en cortège à parcourir, et puis alors ils seront tous ces coureurs lâchés pour très exactement 212,1 km et 7 difficultés au programme, avec bien sûr le juge de paix qui sera donc l'ascension de la merveilleuse du côté de la citadelle de Namur.
Voilà, savoir que eh bien, sur les 25 derniers kilomètres, on n'aura pas moins de 3 ascensions. Voilà, avec la côte de Lucin, les côtières et la montée de la citadelle, donc la merveilleuse. Voilà donc un final, un gros final. Pour vous, voilà, c'est parti, public. Les applaudissements pour ces 53. 153 coureurs de ce 58e Grand Prix de Wallonie. Voilà, messieurs, pour une route, on se retrouvera tout à l'heure au moment de 17h sur, eh bien, en face du château de Namur, à la citadelle. Voilà, Renaud, un grand merci parce que je crois qu'on a encore passé une petite matinée aujourd'hui sur en bord de mer, ainsi sur
formation est représentée par Jérémy Levaux. Et puis pour l'équipe Tarteletto, il y a sans doute le plus expérimenté des colons s'est échappé, c'est Rob Ruik, le néerlandais originaire de Valkenburg et qui fut 21e d'un Tour de France et 5e jeune il n'y a pas si longtemps. Hein.
sollten sie nicht tun, die jetzt.
Et sont partis depuis le kilomètre 17. Il n'y a pas de coureur d'équipe World Tour. Celui-ci, c'est Plancart, de la dynastie, la nouvelle dynastie. On en parlera, c'est Edouard Plancart pour l'équipe Vlaanderen. Chez Wanty, c'est Tom De Vriend qui se trouve là pour l'équipe Véron Classique, qui est un peu l'équipe qui évolue à domicile également. Nous avons la présence de Sébastien Delfosse. Avec le numéro 136, nous avons là pour la formation Ago également. C'est Marvin Tassé. Aujourd'hui, à la bonne, il y a un coureur de la formation Cybelle, c'est bon, c'est Denis Kounen qui était le premier attaquant au kilomètre 6, regroupement général au kilomètre 11, et c'est donc au kilomètre 17 que ces coureurs sont partis. Vous dire encore, alors que vous voyez déjà qu'il y a quand même un coureur de la FDJ et un coureur de l'équipe Lotto et un coureur de l'équipe Quick-Step, comme par hasard en train de rouler, c'est déjà une indication. Hein. Pinot, le trio Galopin, Benoît et, comment dirais-je, et Wellens, et puis bien sûr Vacoche et Gaviria. Vous dire simplement que Vermeltfort, l'ancien vainqueur de Paris-Roubaix Espoir, a été intercalé, il a été repris, et que Pogny a été victime d'une très lourde chute. Il a été évacué à l'hôpital. C'est bien dommage. Il était 3e ici l'année dernière. Jérôme Pogny, vainqueur de la course du Raisin le 23 août, et encore 3e samedi à la Cuche.
Peut être un des candidats à la victoire. Hein.
On voit aussi que l'équipe Lotto Soudal, dont le directeur sportif aujourd'hui est Marc Wouters, ancien porteur du maillot jaune au Tour de France, mais aussi ces jeunes hein, au travail, 2 jeunes coureurs qui sont passés pro le 1er août. Il s'agit du 3e de la dynastie des Plancart, puisque vous avez ici en 3e position Edouard Plancart de l'équipe Vlaanderen. Vous avez l'aîné des 3, c'est Baptiste, qui avait gagné, souvenez-vous, l'Europe Tour lorsqu'il était dans l'équipe Wallonie-Bruxelles avant de passer chez Katusha cette saison. Et le dernier arrivé, c'est Émile. On nous dit que c'est il va encore plus vite que ses 2 frères. C'est Émile qui roule donc pour le moment dans le peloton, qui a disputé le Tour de l'Avenir et la Brussels Classic, l'ancien Paris-Bruxelles, déjà comme stagiaire. Et l'autre, c'est Van Gompel, qui dispute son 7e jour de course chez les pros.
Heel verhaal, hè? De ruiten werden zo op een andere manier.
Donc il est très régulier, Björn Lambrecht, vice-champion d'Europe l'année dernière derrière Yabuchenko, et qui passera professionnel dès le 1er janvier chez Lotto. On nous dit que c'est peut-être...
Ja, dat is het. Dan gaat hij hem. Wacht hoor. Kerst.
avec sa façade munie d'un porche cintré entre deux grosses tours jumelles pourvues d'un pont-levis. C'est une région splendide, évidemment, passée par Florée, et village célèbre pour son grand feu, entité d'Assès. À quelques minutes à l'ouest, vous avez Cru. Et nous voici avec un des jeunes dont on vous parlait, c'est justement lui, Bjorn Lambrex, petit phénomène. Et c'est merci beaucoup à... Je crois que c'est Yves-Henri qui nous montre cette image. On peut s'arrêter quelques instants sur ce coureur, 1m69, 54 kg. L'homme dont on dit que ce sera le coureur des grands tours, probablement. En tout cas, il aime quand ça monte. Il a gagné Liège-Bastogne-Liège cette année. Ça faisait 6 ans qu'un Belge n'a plus gagné Liège-Bastogne-Liège Espoir. C'était sous la pluie et dans le froid.
Il faut voir un peu vraiment le parcours de ce championnat du monde à Bergen. Maintenant, c'est sûr qu'ils ont une belle équipe, les espoirs, tout comme les professionnels d'ailleurs. Ils ont une très belle équipe au départ de ce championnat du monde où on peut espérer décrocher une victoire et certainement ambitionner un podium.
Alors, petite polémique, ou du moins incompréhension totale dans la sélection chez les juniors. Pas de traces parmi les 6 coureurs sélectionnés, les réservistes du champion de Belgique, Sébastien Grignard. Alors voilà, on a un jeune coureur wallon qui a fait une saison de malade, ce qu'il a fait.
Hadden ze rijden, je kunt toch altijd met elkaar zetten. 1 minuut en 6 seconden. Dat zijn rapport.
Cinquième de Paris-Roubaix, et un homme qui va vite, mais qui a été champion de Belgique junior contre la montre l'année dernière. Donc en plus le chrono aussi. Il était encore junior l'année dernière, hein, donc on est en train de parler d'un gars qui roule aujourd'hui avec les pros et qui était junior l'année dernière. Philipsen, vous avez raison d'insister. On peut ajouter Harm Van Hoek, qui a gagné le Tour de Lombardie l'année dernière et qui cette année a remporté la Flèche ardennaise. Présent sur tous les terrains. Hein.
Non, il y a une belle génération qui est en train d'arriver. Je pense que voilà, chez Lotto, ils font du très bon travail avec leurs jeunes, mais aussi avec cette équipe de BMC qui va disparaître l'année prochaine, de jeunes, où il y a quand même un Philipsen qui roule là, un Steph Kras qui roule aussi dans cette équipe, où ils ont fait du très bon travail et voilà les résultats.
Alors, petite accélération en tête du peloton. C'est pas Gaviria, ça?
Si.
Ah! Gaviria à 50 km 600 de l'arrivée, qui produit une accélération. Quand on est peut-être l'homme le plus rapide intrinsèquement de tout le peloton, ça peut surprendre. Mais ça, c'est le tempérament de Gaviria.
Oui, certainement aussi. Il n'a pas beaucoup de jours de course, donc il se dit vaut mieux en profiter encore pour faire des gros efforts aujourd'hui. Ça pourrait porter ses fruits sur les championnats du monde.
Petit effort de Gaviria avec, n'oubliez pas, Backlund en 3e position tout de même. Gaviria qui se relève, qui coupe son effort.
On va voir ses équipiers.
On a Offredo qui se trouve là aussi, parmi les 10 premiers. Enfin, Nendert qui remonte.
Et on voit que c'est nerveux. Hein. Il y a beaucoup de vent. Le vent est là et il est
beaucoup donné. Donc ça
voit,
casse.
voilà.
Ça casse avec Backland, Steuns, du Cofidis qui se trouve là également, Simon. Intéressant, et c'est encore 2 coureurs Cofidis. Ça veut dire que c'est très marrant de voir un Cofidis qui prend le relais et que ce sont les autres derrière qui roulent aussi de la même équipe.
J'ai vu un Patrick Muller aussi dans ce groupe-là. C'est un jeune coureur suisse qui roule chez BMC. Un très grand talent aussi.
Stagiaire de l'équipe BMC, Muller, oui. Il vient de disputer le Tour de l'Avenir et le Tour du Jura.
Oui, il y a quand même des favoris qui ne se sont pas fait piéger là. Hein. Je vois un Loïc Vliegen aussi.
Vakoch, Teuns,
Bakelands. Et voilà ce que je disais bien quelques kilomètres auparavant. Je disais qu'il fallait se méfier de cet endroit-là parce que c'est chaque année pareil.
Et un peu de nervosité dans le deuxième groupe, avec notamment Bataglin qui emmène.
On ne peut pas gagner la course aujourd'hui là à cet endroit, mais on peut la perdre. On le voit à l'image. Bon, il n'y a pas encore de panique, il n'y a pas encore le feu au lac, ça vient seulement de casser, je vais dire. Mais il faut se méfier, hein. Il faut faire attention, pas laisser aller un coup comme ça, parce que là, 25 coureurs, c'est beaucoup. Hein.
Oui, on a vu quand même dans l'ordre, hein, Gaviria, Bakelands, Teuns se mettre à rouler.
Je vois Galopin qui est là aussi.
Et Benoît qui revient tout seul à gauche. Et Wellens est avec.
Wellens aussi.
Et regardez à gauche de l'écran, hein, c'est Benoît qui fait l'effort. Il est costaud pour revenir comme ça tout seul. Vliegen, vous voyez là en deuxième position, il est bien.
Vakoch.
Loïc.
Et Benoît qui est rentré tout seul à l'arrière, on le voit là, la dernière position.
Très solide. Hein. Et Galopin est là. Les 3 coureurs de l'équipe Lotto sont là. N'ont pas raté le coche. Janssen de la formation.
Nicolas Mas aussi.
Ah voilà la compo. Müller, Joregi, Müller-Mas. Ils mettent Brambilla et pas Gaviria.
Ouais, j'ai vu Gaviria.
Rimon, confirmation au chapeau. Et les 7 boucles de la Meuse et chute. Aïe aïe aïe. Chute d'un coureur de Christophe de Thiou. Ah, quel image. Et c'est malheureusement Sylvain Moniquet, le Landonnais dont je vous parlais, à image fait froid dans le dos, juste dans le virage après, juste après le jardin, juste après. Regardez, le cuissard est déchiré, ce qui est sans doute rassurant, c'est qu'il a pu sans doute être un petit peu amorti là, à cet endroit-là.
Oh là.
Ah oui, il a quand même pris le macadam, hein. Il a glissé à très très vive allure. Aïe, aïe, aïe. Ah oui, non, il est reparti à gauche après, oui. Ah, quelle image.
Ah oui, ça fait mal ça. Et la course qui est vraiment ouverte. Hein. Les favoris qui ne se ménagent pas.
Ouais. Est-ce que Teuns, c'est pas... C'est Vliegen qui...
C'est Vliegen qui coince.
Pardon, non, c'est le deuxième groupe. Là, c'est Vliegen qui coince un tout petit peu par rapport à Wellens et à Bakelands. Hein. Un sélectionné, un réserviste pour le mondial. Et Bakelands.
Ben là, ça va vite. Hein.
Terrain de faute de Justin.
Ça, c'est Vliegen.
Donc, on a pour le moment...
Non, ça, c'est Teuns.
Ça, c'est Teuns, mais alors il est... Ouais, Benoît. Et non, c'est pas Bakelands, ça. C'est pas Teuns. Ouais. J'avoue que c'est un peu confus. On va essayer de revoir ça un petit peu mieux. La caméra 1, c'est celle de Jean-Paul, c'est celle-ci. Donc, c'est Wellens.
Off there because you've still got the 2 riders out front and then you've got Wellens and Bakelands just behind.
Okay, yes, it's yeah. Suffice it to say, it's numbers are plenty for Lotto Soudal. They've played their cards well.
Certainly have.
So Group 1, Benoit and Bakelands up front, being chased by Dylan Teuns and Tim Wellens. just how much assistance is coming in from Wellens there. More riders coming to grief, more riders facing difficulty. AG Tour Le Mondial, a bike change is required, and that is Francois Bidard. But of more interest really is just how his teammate Jan Bakelants is getting on up front. He's up front and gunning for glory. Former winner of this race is Jan Bakelants. It's a chastening moment for Dylan Teuns, who finds himself distanced. He's on his own now. I'm waiting to see who's coming back to him. It's that moment where it's almost every rider riding for himself.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be like that, but these two guys are powering on.
Yeah, Wellens and Bakelants up front. Yeah, so it was Wellens that went across the gap. At the moment, that Benoit was dropped, but Wellens staying with Bakelants, and what a fine job that those two are doing. And no sign of a time gap at the moment, because putting any sort of order on this race at the moment is not that easy. The counter-attacks continue to come from the Lotto NL Jumbo squad. When he thought about a counter-attack, but that was more about going to the front. That's Emil Grundal Jonsson, and the Lotto Soudal defending champion Tony Galopin will be excused chasing duty at the moment. Although I suppose it would be of value to the team to have as many riders up towards the front at the moment, and they have got 2 or 3 riders gravitating within 20 seconds of each other at the moment.
Yeah, they do. I guess it becomes quite a difficult situation for the riders who are now in chasing groups here, because they don't necessarily want to tow anyone else onto the front group. And I think Tish Benoit here finds himself with 2 BMC riders, just needs to sit on the back of that, get towed along, and if he gets towed back into the race, then it should be a tiny bit fresher than the guys that are doing the work. It's only a couple of seconds in between the first group here with Bakelants and Wellens and the second group on the road.
Tim Wellens up front for the Lotto Soudal squad, on his wheel in the white colours, the brown shorts of AG Tour Le Mondial. It's going to be a little bit of a regrouping at the front, and I think this one is going to go in the favour of Lotto Soudal.
Well, you say that, and there's 2 BMC riders joining them as well. So it's 2 riders, 2 BMC, 2 Lotto Soudal, and I think Bakelants is going to find himself in a position here where, if I was him, I would just go straight back to the back of this group and sit there and say, thank you very much, boys, you tow me into the bottom of the Citadel.
So Tish Benoit is there for a Lotto Soudal. Loic Vliegen is there as well for the BMC squad. So 2-1 presumes Dylan Teuns, indeed he is. Tim Wellens and Jan Bakelants, that's your quintet.
Benoit is looking like he's hurting a bit there, trying to stay on the back wheel. And look at this group coming up as well.
That's all good news for Tony Galopin as well, the reigning champion, who has been in the wheels, watching the action. How much energy has he been able to save? If they are dragged back in, it'll be 3 riders up there for the Lotto Soudal squad. Cofidis going to put 1 rider in there. And Emil Grundal Jonsson, as I said, for the Lotto NL Jumbo team, will be a sole representative of the Dutch team. 5 up front, joined by Janssen, and so too in quick succession by the rider from Cofidis, Julien Simon. He's got 5 top 10s in this race, Julien Simon. Amazing consistency, and he won this race back in 2012. He absolutely loves Grand Prix Wallonie, knows exactly how to play it. The wind has blown, it's thinned things out considerably, and it's by no means a promenade through to the bottom of the final hill, is it? 20 kilometers remaining. Is this group going to swell further in size, and exactly what's going to happen dynamically? It's advantage Lotto Soudal now.
Yeah, it's definitely an advantage for them, but I think they would have been happier with the two BMC and 2 Lotto Soudal and Jan Bakelants there from AG Tour. That would have been an easier situation to control. 8 riders from a couple of different teams now. It becomes a bit more of a difficult matter to control. But at the same time, we've got to look back and understand what the situation is behind who's riding who's where, and if they what gap they got as well, because there's still 20 kilometers to go. There's about half an hour worth of racing for these guys or just over half an hour of racing for these guys. So it's going to be an interesting final, that's for sure.
Well, Team Quickstep, the obvious losers there. They are the preeminent force in Belgian bike racing, in classics racing in general, with an absolute hatful of wins so far this year. And the Quickstep squad with Vakoc was prominent towards the front there, and they were in the front group. And when it all kicked off a couple of climbs ago, they found themselves wanting a little bit. So Vakoc and Gaviria finding themselves in a chasing situation at just over half a minute. Any chance for those to get back in?
I guess there's a chance, but it's going to be a difficult one if they do get back in again, because we do have further climbs to come, and with that, if you spend an awful lot of energy chasing to try and get back in there, what have you got left to respond with when you get to the next climb?
Legan here at the back for the BMC squad, number 28. His teammate Dylan Tuns, as I have mentioned, more than one occasion, is absolutely flying. He's had a string of big victories of late. Really big breakthrough season for him in 2017, and Tuns is many people's favourite for the World Championships in Bergen in a couple of weeks. We're into the Tiano Pierre at an average of 4.6%.
Quite a long climb as well.
Yeah, 3.2 kilometres is a lot of climbing, given that they're coming up on 200 kilometres of racing. And Tej Benoot not enjoying this, but I think it is instructive that Tony Galopin is just riding in the wheels without any obvious difficulty. Might have been a bit of a shout there from Tej Benoot to try and throttle back his teammate on the front. Tim Wellens, number 4, was absolutely flying, had to look around a little bit, so there might have been a bit of a shout from the Lotto Soudal team, and that's an opportunity, I think, for BMC.
Well, an opportunity, I don't know, I think it's too early to try and go alone from here, but at the same time, you know, it's okay, 37 seconds back to the second group with Gaviria in. Do have a little bit of sort of time to rest on, but at the same time, you need to keep the pressure on there, and I think at this moment in time, if Benoot hasn't got the legs, then so be it.
Tell you one man who does have the legs is the reigning champion, Tony Galopin, goes to the front. Jan Bakelants looks relatively comfortable. This is Loic Legan for the red and black colours of BMC, rolling back towards the back, the red and white colours of Lotto Soudal. BMC, of course, a US registered squad with a Swiss sponsor, but with a big heart in the classics, and with riders here who know exactly what it takes to get to the finish and to sort this one out. 2 for BMC, 3 for Lotto Soudal at the moment. Just over half a minute, the gap is going in the right direction for the leaders.
Yeah, it definitely is, but I don't think it's over yet. All it takes is for a couple of riders from either BMC or Lotto Soudal to start playing around in the front group there, and all of a sudden we'll find this group closing in on them quite quickly.
Miguel Cherel is there for AG Tour Le Mondial in the chasing group, but he's just watching, really. He's just monitoring affairs as the Roubaix Lille Metropole trying to put a rider onto the front and perhaps to counter and jump across the group. I think that was Anton Marchi, the Frenchman with the Roubaix Lille Metropole squad. Riders from the Army de Terre team at the back of the bunch, still sitting at a half a minute.
Yeah, Thibaut Pinot has found himself in this group here now as well, and I think for him, if he's going to have any chance of winning this race, he needs to try and launch on this climb and try and bridge across whilst he's still going uphill, and hopefully he'll get 1 or 2 riders being able to come along with him. I reckon that's the only way that he's going to get himself back into a position where he can win.
Patrick Muller from the BMC squad. We spotted just towards the back of the line Benjamin Thomas as well in the Army de Terre squad, perhaps not enjoying the tempo but hanging on grimly. And Tamarki just looks around. 27 seconds, starting to close down a little bit, and the attacks coming from the back. They've got the numbers, and they need to start kicking things off. Tim Wellens, he likes to go long.
He certainly does, and he's going really well at the moment as well. Super strong attack by Tim Wellens there, and they need to watch out here now, and I think that motorbike needs to watch out as well, because Tim Wellens is riding like one.
Yeah, everyone needs to pay attention to this one. Tim Wellens is on the attack, and Jan Bakelants knows the danger of that one. Emil Grandal Janssen is starting to struggle a little bit, rolls a big gear, but can he get the watts out to get back onto the back of this group? It could be a gap that's expanding a little bit dangerously for Janssen, the Norwegian rider, as we move up to see exactly how BMC are responding to this one. But it's the lone figure for AG Tour Le Mondial of Jan Bakelants that's going to try and close it down. And the next attack and the next counter is coming from Tuns. Tuns has saved something for the back end of this.
Yeah, you don't want to let Tim Wellens get too much of a gap either, so...
Yeah, Vliegen has had enough at this point. He's done a lot of selfless work for the BMC squad.
He put his hand up in the air there as well, so I don't know whether he's got some sort of a mechanical problem going on.
Okay, could have been a puncture for Loic Vliegen. He's been in flying form, hasn't he, for BMC all afternoon. That has affected their chances tactically. Monty Group Gobert trying to put a rider into position. They lost their star rider, Jerome Bonis, who's third in this race in 2017 to a crash earlier on today. He's a non-finisher, unfortunately, so they've got to change their tactical playing. Was it Alfredo?
Tish Benoit looks like he's found his legs a bit again. He was trying to get across there to Dylan Turn, so it's certainly looking like he's feeling a bit more comfortable at the top of this climb rather than the way he was at the bottom of it.
Well, we race ahead to see what sort of an advantage they have eked out, and look at this superb effort.
I'd say it's a good 10-12 seconds.
Well, Tim Wellens really loves the long attack. 16 kilometers of racing is almost a short one for him, isn't it? And he has put himself into the perfect position. He has put his team into the perfect tactical position, and as he races across the gradient starts to ease a little bit, Tim Wellens settles into this lone attack for glory. 5 chasers, but only 3 of them are in a position to chase, because now we find ourselves with Tim Wellens up front inside 16 kilometers to go. The reigning champion Tony Galopin will perhaps counterintuitively be happy with this situation, because his teammate is up front and racing to glory, and Galopin will watch and sit in the wheels as best he can to see who's going to be able to chase it down. Will it be Julien Simon on the front of the chasers for the Cofidis squad? Will it be Jan Bakelants trying to chase it down? Will it be Dylan Tuns? Because, well, Tim Wellens needs chasing at this moment. His advantage up to 17 seconds.
Yeah, certainly riding very strongly, Tim Wellens, and like you said, the Galopin and Tish Benoit are finding themselves in a perfect position here now, just being able to sit on the wheels. And you mark my words that if the other 3 riders there, Turns, Julien Simon and Jan Bakelants manage to bring Tim Wellens back, then all of a sudden you will see all sorts of attacks happening from the other sort of Lotto Soudal riders.
Well, that's Loic Vliegen just rolling a big gear. He's been, I'm not sure whether he was dropped or he had some sort of mechanical issue from the BMC. I think
he's on the radio there, so something has happened. I don't know whether his gears have gone or what's happening at the moment, but it certainly looked like he put his hand up in the air, was requesting some sort of service, and yeah.
Yeah, frustrating moment. The team car is
Very
well
much so.
behind even this chase group. No sign of any team car. I think it's just one, is it? I think it might be the lot.
It's a neutral service.
Yeah, just neutral, yeah. Attacks coming from the Belgian under-23 team. They want to try and race across, but I think you need a little bit of assistance at the back end of a classic of this distance. We're coming up on 200 kilometers of bike racing, and look at the way the riders are labored in the wheels to try and close down the chase group, and the chase group in turn find themselves 24 seconds back from this man, Tim Wellens. He's in good form, and he's leading for Lotto Soudal into the back end of the Grand Prix de Wallonie. Tim Wellens, while this would be a nice attack at a good time for the Belgian rider. And it's up to Julian Simon in the white and red colours of Team Cofidis, the black and red colours of Dylan Tuns to close it down. And we've seen a fair turn to try and chase it down from this man, Jan Bakelants. Number 11, the Belgian rider with the French squad, AG Tour Le Mondial. Meanwhile, the third group, well, they're almost 50 seconds back.
Yeah, they are, and I think lots of Jumbo finding themselves in a bit of an awkward situation as well. They were looking good there with the Norwegian rider up in Janssen in the break, and then all of a sudden he's not been able to match the pace of a couple of those guys in the break, and now they have to chase.
He's 26 years of age, and he's a one-team man, isn't he? He's been with the Lotto squad, Lotto Belisol as it was, back, began with them in 2012. Secure with this team through until 2018. A couple of overall victories in the Eneco Tour. The Tour of Poland 12 months ago as well. And won Montreal at this end of the season back in 2015. String of victories in the second half of the season. It suits Tim Wellens, the way that his form comes. Coming off a 5th place finish in the GP Cycliste de Quebec last week, just indicating that the form was coming in just the right direction. 12th place in Grand Prix Montreal on Sunday.
He's had a good month of racing recently, with a lot of top placings. 2nd place overall in the Bink Bank Tour, stage win there as well. So and obviously over in Canada here now, just a 5th and a 12th place. That's it just shows that he's got legs on at the moment, and the way that he's pulling away from these 5 riders, I think we're potentially looking at the winner of today.
Well, the Lotto, his Lotto Soudal teammates join the ride, aren't they? Because Tony Galopin, Teish Benoot can watch and admire the efforts of their teammate, and indeed the forlorn efforts of their breakaway companions to close this one down. Because, well, I'm going to make a prediction. I think he's got a great chance, and it looks as if it's going to knit it back together again. The chasers behind are just 10 seconds to the good. The all impetus has gone out of this lead group since this attack from Tim Wellens.
Yeah, but it looks like the guys with Bakelants and Turns have just sat up a fraction and they're losing time quite quickly on Wellens, so down to 38 seconds. It just means that it's drifting back into the second bunch there on the road, and that could be somewhat dangerous. We still have 10 kilometers to go, and I think Wellens is likely to have the legs to continue at this pace and hold off on the 38 seconds. But if you're looking at a massive, if we're taking a bunch, for instance, 38 seconds is nothing on 10 kilometers. They can take that in the space of a couple of kilometers if they really get into it. It could be a bit of a dangerous move from Lotto Soudal to let this drift out like that.
Do you think they should ride just a little bit just to make sure they stay ahead of the bunch behind?
Yeah, I think
it's a subtle art to make sure you don't close down your teammate, but you do manage to stay ahead of the chasers. It's not easily done.
No, I think that would make sense at this point. Just continue to just roll through a fraction, make sure that you're holding that 30-odd seconds, and staying clear of Group 3 on the road.
Yeah, well, it's about 25, 26 seconds at the moment as they're just riding at a tempo that, and there's the little bit of anxiety being demonstrated there by Teish Benoot, the champion. Tony Galopin, you can be sure too that he's looking over his shoulder on a regular basis. Indeed he does. And it's the 2 Lotto Soudal riders who are punching tickets at the moment that are looking and monitoring and making sure that, well, the times are continuing to come through and to fluctuate. It looks as if it's actually encouraging signals for these chasers, and they are extending their advantage to Group 3 on the road, the bigger bunch.
Yeah, it looks a bit better than it did a couple of moments ago, but 42 seconds, 43 seconds now. It's kind of in that position now where where Teish Benoot and Tony Galopin can start thinking about maybe putting another attack in and sending another rider up the road.
Well, will they do that, or will they wait for the finishing climb, try and keep their powder dry? Inside the final 10 kilometers in Grand Prix Wallonie, he's racing clear to an advantage now, 3/4 minute. Tim Wellens, the 26-year-old Belgian with the Lotto Soudal team, is attempting to make it 3 years in a row that they take the victory in this event. It's looking good at the moment, but he's still got a lot of work to do, because when he reaches 2 kilometers to go, the road will rise. He'll be well into the town of Namur and into that final 2-kilometer grippy climb up to the Citadel in Namur. It is by no means an easy climb, especially given he'll have over 210 kilometers. And as you surmised, there was going to be a counter-attack, but this one's coming, I think, from Dylan Teuns. Dylan Teuns has gone on the attack, and he's brought Tony Galopin with him. Jan Bakelants looks to control this one. He looked so full of fight when this kicked off in the final, but Bakelants is struggling to get onto the wheel of Dylan Teuns, who really looks like he's in strong form.
Yeah, it certainly does look like he's in strong form. But Tish Benoit, they're very, very keen to make sure that Bakelants doesn't actually ride away from him. He wants to make sure that he's on the wheel there, and manages to do so as well.
So that group's knitted back together again. There will be surely another attack. 38 seconds. That little flurry of attacking served only to eliminate for good the opportunity and the hopes of Emil Grundal Janssen. Lotto Enel Jumber not going to get back to the front of this one, it would appear. 1.5 minutes back to Group 3. Surely it's just all between the riders up front. Now we're starting to see, it must be Thibaut Pinot, is it? It is. Off the front of the chasing group behind. Too little, too late?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's he would have needed to done this move a lot earlier than he has, and I think it's a bit of a last-moment desperation.
Wellens is clear and riding to victory, but we do have the caveat, that little codicil, the little asterisk that says there's a 2-kilometer climb at the back end of this, and how much energy is he going to have for that climb when he gets there? We will see. Jan Bakelants in the second group is starting to find it increasingly difficult to close down and to make sure that he's in there. And I think Bakelants looks as if he's in a little moment of crisis.
Yeah, Julien Simon was doing a big turn on the front there, and just managed to get rid of Bakelants for a moment. And
bit of a surprise.
Bit of a surprise, and interesting to see though that again Tish Benoit, who was in trouble earlier on the flat, finds himself feeling much more comfortable going uphill.
It is remarkable, isn't it? The fluctuating fortunes. We saw Dylan Teuns looked as if he was struggling when the attacks were going on, maybe 10 kilometers ago. Now he's the one full of fight in the chasers, and perhaps reflecting the form that we expected from him. But yeah, it's not obvious, is it? And that's what makes it so fascinating. 45 seconds to the good now for Tim Wellens. Just how much does he need at the bottom of the climb? Given that it's not a huge group chasing him, it looks good for him at the moment.
Yeah, it certainly does look very good for him, and he's still full of energy and driving along. So I would say he's likely to hold on to this, if not extend his lead even further, as Julien Simon brings up the pace on the descent.
Well, Julien Simon with that extraordinary record of top 10s in this event. He's got 5 top 10s, including that first overall back in 2012, but he's looking to extend his score of top 10s without adding to his victory tally. 4th in Tour of Limousin lately, bringing good form into it and good pedigree in this event. But what can the man from Cofidis do about this man? Number 4, it's not 44 in case you wonder, that's 2 Dossard pinned together. And 47 seconds, 6.6 kilometers remaining. Just ticking off the kilometers through to that final climb, and then we will know. Then we will know exactly how much energy. Well, he's so full of fight. He's got so much strength to be able to race clear. You feel that he's got what he needs. This group starting to soft pedal a little bit, and their advantage is significant over the chasers, but not so significant that they can just tour into the bottom of that hill.
No, I don't think they can, but I think that it looks a bit like the second group, or Group 3 there on your screen, are slowing down a fraction as well. So there's still enough time for them to play a bit of cat and mouse, but they can't do too much. They still need to, when they get down onto the flat, keep on driving this along. Simon looks like he's
frustrated.
He's frustrated. He wants to keep working, and no one's really working with him.
One man that's working absolutely consistently without any let up is Tim Wellens. Perfectly through that hairpin.
He took that very, very quick.
Yeah, he's playing to win, isn't he? Nothing held back. Total commitment racing from Tim Wellens of Belgium and Lotto Soudal. How many times in the past have we seen him race through to the bottom of finishing climbs in this part of the world? Hasn't always worked out. A little bit of encouragement for Simon too. And I think an understanding really from Simon and from all of them in there that the Lotto Soudal riders are not going to contribute, they're just going to close them down. They're going to offer the threat, but no more.
Looking at about 2 kilometers, 2.5 kilometers of flat riding before we start the final climb up to the Citadel in Namur.
They really are losing quite a bit of time to Tim Wellens, but as you've pointed out, the group behind aren't riding anything like as hard as they were. For all that, though, this second group are leaking a lot more time to Tim Wellens than the third group are, so in danger, I think, of being within touching distance of the chase group when they reach that finishing climb. I suppose the question is, how much energy will they have retained or even recouped by this period of soft pedaling? Still got quite a way to do before they get there, and if Wellens is 4.5 kilometers to the finish, it's at least 5 kilometers for the chase group behind. They find themselves a minute back. Over 50 seconds then from group 2 back to the third group on the road. And Tim Wellens drooping the hands over the bars in familiar style and looking in imperious form. No let up. Still perfect metronome consistency. Dips his shoulders and dips his head for just a moment, but it's a busy style, but it's a very effective one and a beautiful position on the bike, isn't it?
Well, apart from the hands, which I do not like the way they ride around like that, but nevertheless, he's certainly got the power left in his legs to keep the pace going, and these guys are now playing very much a cat and mouse game.
Yeah, Bakelants looks anxiously over his shoulder. I think he senses that if they continue at this pace, they surely will be mopped up by a group chasing behind. Down to less than 50 seconds now, and it's sportive pace in relative terms, a lot faster than that, but it's relative to the way they've been going, it's just not fast enough, really, and they could well be in danger. And the Lotto Soudal riders, well, there's little they can do about it except pose the threat, and no one wants to bring them to the bottom of the climb. No, and I think that is the problem as well, as you've got 2 riders sitting on the wheel, and if you're one of the other 3, then you always have that worry about, well, we've got another climb coming up, and at some point there will be an attack going. Have I got the legs to respond to that and go with that if I keep on working hard on the front here? Well, if you're Mark Waters in the Lotto Soudal car, do you ask your riders in the chase group for an attack, or do you just say, well, look, we'll just bet everything, gamble everything on Wellens here? You got to go with the flow here and go on feel, and they'll be aware that there's a minute and 10 seconds up to Tim Wellens. So at this point in time, if you got the legs to go and the timing is right, kick for it. And here we hit the stones. This is where it really will be hard for Tim Wellens now. 2 kilometers uphill of 5%, and it is cobblestones until basically it flattens out again. Need to ride on the right hand side of this to get the smoother road. Into the final 2-kilometer ascent that will take us to the plateau at the top and the Citadel in Namur, where Tim Wellens will, we anticipate, be crowned the Grand Prix de Wallonie winner for 2017. It will be the 3rd successive victory for Lotto Soudal, but Wellens cannot let up. He cannot imagine for a minute that the chasers have let up the way they have, so he has to think only about racing forward and putting everything into this effort. The cobblestones, well, they're not exactly Paris-Roubaix style, but they are jarring, and certainly they'll be sapping the energy from this rider's legs as he's into the closing stages of what's been a monumental performance for the young man from Lotto Soudal. The chasers behind, well, they're looking around at each other and gambling and thinking more about second place. It's the opportunity really in the advantage for the Lotto Soudal team. Teish Benoit at the back of the group here, number 2. Number 1 in front, the reigning champion Tony Galopin knows exactly what he needs to do. They hit the bottom of the climb. Closer to the top, Tim Wellens.
Still got a couple of, well, a good sort of 700-800 meters of riding to do on these stones before it flattens out and he comes out onto some normal roads. Another hairpin turn and then one more and then go through the tunnel. You can basically make a loop back on yourself.
Well, it's looking good for Tim Wellens now, isn't it? We start to see the little skirmishes begin and the race up to this citadel in Namur, the fortress in the capital city of the Wallonie region.
At what point will that attack come, though, from the next Lotto Soudal rider? They have to do that.
Attack has to come. Significant difference, isn't there, between Tim Wellens and the pace that he's able to generate and the riders behind. We're just looking around at each other. Out to 1 minute and 23 seconds. The gradient, while it reaches up to 10%, it's not quite as obvious, is it, on these camera shots, but it really is a very, very steep climb. An average of 6% as he starts to get close to the top now. And now he knows that the victory is, well, almost inevitable at this moment. The citadel beckons. Originally a Roman construction, they've reconstructed it on several occasions over the centuries. This one dates to just a little bit towards the back end of the 17th century, and what a wonderful piece of architecture it is, and what a great place to finish a bike race. Certainly it's one of Tim Wellens' favourite pieces of architecture, because he's about to add the Grand Prix de Wallonie to his considerable palmarès, but he's still got the little matter of the final 1,400 kilometres to work through on the small ring and up towards the top, and that will tell you this is a steep hill.
Yeah, it's just wearing you down with the cobblestones, and this particular part of the climb is fairly steep still, so but it's still holding that nice cadence. It's turning the legs over and generating the power and speed by doing so. I'm just really quite surprised that there hasn't been an attack coming from either Tispinot or Tony Galopin just yet.
Well, he's sitting on the ribbon and still putting it all in, as Wellens knows only one way. He's not. I very much doubt he's been kept aware of the gap, and even he probably wouldn't even believe it if they told him. He just will hold nothing back until he gets to that finishing straight, and then he might think about just considering his celebration and exactly what's involved, and zip up the jersey and make sure he presents the colours in the perfect fashion. It's Julian Simon on the front of the group behind. Tispinot loitering and lingering at the back. Will the next attack be coming from Tispinot?
Well, I would have certainly requested that.
Avant faisait tout le tour. Un lieu célèbre ici, là dans les tribunes à gauche. Oh, sont passés, le pape est venu ici. On a même eu, pour ceux qui s'en souviennent, la finale des Jeux sans frontières, commentée par Paul Herman. Tout ça ici. Et
intéressant de voir qu'il va faire deuxième et troisième. Hein.
Voilà. Tim Wellens. Tim Wellens. Voit Simon dans le sprint et Wellens qui arrive. Surpuissant, au-dessus du lot.
Une belle équipe autour de lui, hein, parce que le jeu d'équipe a joué quand même un rôle important aussi, surtout du fait qu'il...
And into the home straight, Wellens can celebrate, he gets the victory. Grand Prix de Wallonie 2017 goes to Tim Wellens of Lotto Soudal. Arms in the air, 3 victories in succession for the Belgian team. Beautifully executed. They had the numbers and they had the riders with strength. Now can they see about adding it on?
Galopin has just gone up the road. He's managed to go clear there now.
So Galopin, the reigning champion, has disappeared from this group, and Jan Bakelans is I've closed enough gaps at the moment, so 1-2 finish beckoning for Lotto Soudal. Can they make it a 1-2-3? Tispinot has a little bit of pressure on his shoulder to make it a 1-2-3 in the 3rd successive victory. The reigning champion will not defend it. it a 1-2-3 finish for Lotto Soudal. Will he be able to get through and around Julian Simon? Doesn't look as if he will, but what a great 1-2 finish for the Lotto Soudal squad. Simon in third place, Teichmann in fourth. Bakelants and turns at the back of the group, perhaps not. Recent weeks. The fight for minor positions continues, but already celebrating a wonderful victory. Tim Wellens of Lotto Soudal.
Wijnands. Ah, dat is een dinger.
Benjamin Thomas, dat is ding dat de Bruyne. Ah ja. Springers. Ja, Vakko is niet goed, hè?
Au niveau de chronomètre, il nous donne donc tous ces résultats. Il y avait une petite erreur au niveau de la quatrième place, c'est bien Tige de l'autre qui a pris la quatrième, il n'y a pas d'autres amis qui ont été.
Vachon.
Piste.
Voor de Guy.